Morning, everybody. Welcome to our stick mobility class. Thank you for joining us. As always, have your sticks ready. Wall, chair for stretching or seated positions, and a pad for your knee. Today we're going to be focusing on some core work, some legs, and so let's go ahead and get started, all right? Go ahead and grab 2 sticks. Or get those feet activated and get those arm lines stimulated at the same time. Let's get those hands and feet to wake up. Let's take our feet, let's set them about 2 inches apart or so. Place those sticks at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, but right in line with, right next to the little toes or just outside the little toes. Reach up at the top, let's take that rope grip. If you have shorter sticks and you need a little bit more height because you're a little bit taller, then just place those sticks up onto a plyo box or a chair at home or a desk, all right? Okay, from here, let's take that left foot, let's step back. Nice big step back, and from here, let's just hang. We're dropping straight down. We're not shifting forward. We're going straight down. Back heel is up, and now let's lift that front heel. Stay in that hang position. And now rotate to the left. Pull that left arm back. Come back to center. Stay on those toes. Rotate to the right. Reach that left hand forward. Pull that right arm back. Back to center. Now shift weight forward. So now we're putting more weight onto that right foot. Try to center the weight on the front of those toes there. So try to make sure you're not too far out on the little toe or not too far in on the big toe. Come back to center and relax. Switch feet. So bring your back foot up first to make sure it's in alignment with that right foot before you set that right foot back. Big step back with the right foot. Here we go. Ready? Back heel is up and drop. Just hang. Breathe. Front heel is flat. Now elevate that front heel. Rotate to the right. So pull that right arm back. Breathe. Back to center. Now rotate left. Keep your hips square. Pull that left arm back. Back to center. Now sink weight forward. So we're loading that left foot a little bit more right now. Focus on those centering the weight on the balls of the feet. Ease back and relax. Okay, let's put one stick down. Let's grab a pad for your knee. We're going to go in a half kneeling position. Or if you have a nice fluffy carpet, then just stay on there if that feels good for you. Okay, let's go with the left knee down first. So we're in that half kneeling position. Right leg is in front. So we're going to take the stick, and what we're going to do is we're going to rest it, or we're going to set it parallel to the, actually horizontal to us. All right? So the end of the stick is at 3 o'clock. Just grab this overhand grip on the left hand, and what you're going to do is you're going to reach. And as you reach for the end of the stick, push your hip out to 9. Come back up. And again. Come back up. One more time. Push your hip out to 9. Reach for the 3. And come back up. Now, let's move the stick to about between 1 and 2. All right, okay, same thing. So the left hand, overhand grip, it's down by your left hip or so. Reach forward, and as you reach forward, push your hips back. Back up, and again. Back up, and one more time. Reach. Give that stick a little push, too, when you get to the end. Come back up. Now, let's move the stick to 12 o'clock. Your backhand is still on that left hip, so that hasn't changed at all. Ready? Here we go. Reach. Push the hip backwards, reach forward. Give that stick a little push with the hand. Here we go. One more. Come back up. Excellent. Okay, now let's go ahead and switch legs. So right knee is down, left leg is in front. Place the stick at one end of the stick, the left end at 9 o'clock. Overhand grip on the 3 o'clock side or the right side of the stick. Here we go, ready? We're gonna reach for 9 with the left hand. As we reach, push your hip out to the 3. Slide back up. Give that stick a little push when you get to the end. Breathe. One side, you won't be able to reach as far as the other. Here we go, one more. Come back up. Now, place the stick between 11 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Here we go, ready, reach. Push your hips backwards as you go forward. Give a little bit of push into the stick with that hand. Back up, 2 more. Back up, 1 more. Back up. Move the stick so it's facing 12 o'clock. The back of the stick is still on your right side or your right hip. Ready? Here we go. Reach. Push your hip backwards. Sink into it. Push that stick down. Back up. 2 more. Reach. Back up. Let's go 1 more. Here we go. Reach. Breathe. And come back up. Nicely done. Okay, put that pad back. All right, take a little rest. Okay, so we're gonna do a little kayaking right now. Get the shoulders moving, but we're gonna hover, so we're gonna work those legs. So we're gonna put a little bit of strength training into this situation also. So we'll start from the top and drop down as opposed to pushing up from the bottom. Okay, so stick is at sternum level, parallel with the floor. Feet together, step back with that right leg. Okay, nice big step. I'll take a little side angle so you can see. From here, the back knee is your action. Soften that back knee and start to forward kayak. Hold that position. Torso's up nice and tall. Forward kayaking. Feel the shoulder blades gliding along the rib cage. Hips should be on fire right now or getting to that point. Keep that pelvis tucked underneath you. Get that right glute engaged. That right glute is helping keep that right hip in extension. And relax. Okay, take a second. I'll switch profiles so you can see. Now, when we kick the left foot back, let's go reverse, all right? Stick is at sternum level, parallel with the floor. Big step back with that left foot. Back heel stays up. Remember, back knee is your action. Bend that knee and go straight down. Ready? And reverse. Going in that backstroke position. Breathe. Feel that posterior arm line working as it pulls that stick apart. A few more seconds. And relax. Nicely done. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring that chair over. Have a seat. Overhand grip on the stick. All right? Sit up on the front of the seat. Don't sit back all the way. Make sure your pinkies are fully engaged with the stick. Chest up nice and tall. So we're going to go into an overhead dislocate, overhead position. but then we're going to do some behind the neck presses. All right? Okay. Pull apart on the stick, 40% tension. Pull. Stick, as you can see, is parallel to the floor. Go up overhead. Pinkies are fully engaged. Hold position. And now slowly go pull the stick down behind the head. Don't let your head go forward. Slowly come back up. If you don't have this range of motion, and as you pull down behind the head, you actually hit the head or you have to move the head, you don't go any farther than that. All right, so if I take a side profile, this is what I'm talking about. So if I come up here, and this is my max range of overhead position, and I start to come down and I hit my head, that's where I stop. All right, if I'm here and I start to come down behind the head and I pull my head forward, I keep my head in position, and if I make contact with the head, I stop right there. All right, because that's just where you own that range of motion right now. Okay, ready? 2 more reps. Here we go. Pull, 40% tension, up overhead. Keep the ribs down, abs tight. Stop at the top, and then slowly pull the stick down behind the head. Come back up. Still pulling that stick apart. Still pulling the stick apart. When you see the stick in your peripheral line of sight, push in. Let's go 1 more rep. Here we go. Ready? Pull. Let's go 50% this time. A little bit harder. But stay within where you feel comfortable. Try to go back just a little bit further this time. Slowly down behind the head. Keep the ribs down. Back up overhead. Keep pulling apart as you come forward. When you see the stick in your peripheral line of sight, push in. Shorten that stick. And relax. Take a rest. Now, let's mobilize that neck. All right? We've been sitting watching Netflix a lot and getting bored, so let's get that head moving, all right? Place the stick behind the skull. If you feel that little bump at the base of the skull, that's where I want the stick to be placed. Okay? Make sure your shoulders are in neutral position. So what I mean by that is look at my shoulder position. So I'm not internally rotated and I'm not externally rotated. And have your wrists in neutral position also. So no extension and no flexion. But you're most likely going to get extension in this position. So try to keep those wrists and shoulders in neutral position. If you have to take your hands nice and wide, it's perfectly fine. Okay, ready? Pull. At about 30-40% tension, pull apart on that stick. And now push your head back against the stick. So we're just retracting the head. Imagine someone's pointing their finger straight into your nose or your eyes and you're trying to back up. So we're not looking up, we're not pulling the head up, we're just retracting. All right, hold that position and now turn your head to the left. So you're still pulling apart on the stick. You're gently pushing the head back against the stick as you turn your head to the left. And now let's turn right. 1 more to each side. Let's turn the head left. Keep pulling apart on that stick. Keep pushing the head gently back against the stick. And now turn to the right. You'll get some tissue release back there because that stick actually acts as a little bit of a roller. Come back to center. Ease off. Bring your arms back to the front. Take a second. So that was rotation. The next thing we're going to work on is actually just tilting the head. So tilting is simply just pulling the ear down towards your shoulder. It's not rotation. So make sure you're separating these 2 movements. Here we go. Ready? Stick behind the head. Wrist and shoulders in neutral position. Pull apart on that stick. Let's give it about 40% tension. Retract that head against the stick. Push. And now maintain that push as you tilt your head to the left. So you're pushing the head back against the stick. You're pulling apart on the stick. And now you're trying to pull the left ear down towards the left shoulder. So you're just tilting. You should feel that lengthening through the right side tissues. Now go to tilt to the right. So you're tilting the right ear down towards the right shoulder. You're still retracting the head against the stick, and you're still pulling apart on that stick. Let's go one more in each direction. Tilt the head left. Keeping your eyes looking straight ahead, not down at the floor. And now tilt your head to the right. Back to center and relax. Nice. Okay, let's move that chair out of the way there for a second. Okay. Single stick. Time to do some lunges. All right. So we're going to start with the pad. Half kneeling position. I'm going to start with my left knee down. All right. Make sure the lower leg is in line with the upper leg. So we don't want that lower leg in towards your midline. It's got to be in line. Toes in the floor. Stick is at 12 o'clock. So we're going to move the hands up to about chin level, because now as we hover, that'll bring us up into that more chest alignment once we come up into that hover position. Stick is at 12, right leg is in front. Push the stick into the floor, 50% tension. Push. I got my left hand on top, right hand on bottom. Build to 60. Build to 70. Push a little bit harder. Come on, drive that stick into the floor. You should feel all this tissue just activated right now. Build to 80. And now hover. Just barely off the floor, guys. Keep that pelvis tucked underneath you. If you don't have the strength to hover the leg, that's perfectly fine. Just drive the leg into the floor, and you're still going to feel the tissues necessary. And relax. All right? So even though you keep driving that back foot into the floor, you're going to wake up all these back tissues. All right? Okay, here we go. Again, 50% tension. Push. Drive to 60. Drive to 70. Give me 80. Push. And now hover. Breathe. Lift the stick. Rotate to the right. Keep those hips square. Back to center. And relax. Okay? Let's switch sides. We're going to give that leg a rest, and we're going to switch sides, and then we're going to come back to it in just a second. Okay? Here we go. Right knee is down, left leg in front. Hands just about chin level. So my right hand is on top now because my left leg is in front. Ready? 50% tension. Push. Build to 60. Build to 70. Lat should be engaged. You should be feeling your deep front line. Build to 80. And now hover. Driving that stick into the floor. Keeping that pelvis underneath us. Push. Breathe. And relax. Okay, take a second. Now we're going to add that rotation in. All right? Here we go. Ready? Push. 50%. Breathe. 60. 70. 80. Come on, push that stick into the floor. And now hover. Lift the stick. Slowly rotate to your left. Keep those hips square. Bring the stick back to center. And relax. Nice. Okay. I'm going to take more of a front angle. Actually, I'm going to move this pad over just a little bit. So now we're going to offset the lever when we add rotation. Okay? So the longer the lever on the side It's going to give gravity a little bit more pull, so we're going to have to resist just a little bit more. Okay. Left leg down, right leg in front. Stick is parallel with the floor, overhand grip. As you can see, my lever is way off to my right. So that way, once you come into this position, you're going to feel that weight pulling you to the right. Change it so it's not hitting the doorway of the cage there. Okay, ready? From here, we're going to pull apart on that stick. Pull. Give me 50% pull on that stick. Pull. Breathe. Hover that back knee. And now rotate slowly to the right. We should feel a little bit more work on the lead hip, lead foot. Come back to center. And relax. Take a second. We'll do one more rep. Okay, ready? Here we go. If you had your lever out just a little bit and that felt okay, then move more of that out to the side. If it was too much, then bring it in. Here we go. Ready? Pull. Give me 50-60% tension on that stick. Pull. And now hover. And now rotate slowly to the right. Breathe. Slowly come back. And relax. Let's switch legs. Right knee down, left leg in front. Here we go. Lever is off to the left side. 50% tension, pull. Pulling apart on that stick. Hover and rotate slowly to the left. Slowly come back and down. Take a second. Ready? Here we go. Make sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath. Okay, ready? Pull. 50-60% tension. Hover. And now rotate slowly to the left. Slowly bring it back. And relax. Whew. Take a second. Okay. Now, last workout, we sat in that nice hip flex position as we push the stick down into the quads to light up your core. We're going to be taking kind of this, we're going to take the same base position, but we're going to change the angle of the stick. All right? So we're going to get a little bit more oblique activation in this one. Have a seat on the floor. Knees flexed. Hips are flexed. Keep your ankles dorsiflexed. Remember, nice tall spine here. So no going into flexion. Someone has a string that is pulling you up towards the ceiling. So a little bit of a lean back. Don't sit up all the way. Just a slight recline. About 15 degrees or so, maybe 20. All right? Place the stick at 1 o'clock. It's basically in line with your right foot. All right? Reach over the top with that left hand. So this is my forward position right here. So right hand is up top. Left hand is grabbing right at the middle of the stick. Chest up. And now with the right hand, pull. So the right hand is pulling that stick towards you. The left hand is reflexively pushing the stick away. Chest up nice and tall, nice tall spine. Breathe. And relax. Switch sides. Stick is in line with the left foot. Left hand overhand grip. Right hand up top. Ready? And pull. Sit up nice and tall. Nice tall spine, no flexion. And relax. As you pull back, try not to lean back. So those are the two things you gotta watch out for. Going into forward flexion and leaning back. Try to maintain structural integrity. All right, so I'll take a little side angle. We're gonna go back to the right side again. Left hand up top, right hand down bottom. Ready? And pull. Breathe. Ease off. Rotate the stick slightly, and again, ready? Pull. Breathe. And relax. Switch to the other side, left side. Okay, right hand up top, left hand right about where the middle of the stick is. Ready? And pull. Ease off. Rotate the stick slightly. Ready? And pull. And relax. Nice. Take a rest. Whew. Oh, that'll wake you up first thing in the morning. All right. Take a little breather. Now, we're going to hit the anterior tissues up. All right. So once again, grab a pad for your knee if you need it. We're going to use the base of the wall. So it'll be square. I'm going to use 2 sticks because we're going to get into the chest and the anterior, all through here and up into the anterior arm line. If you have 1 stick, then you're just doing one side at a time, essentially. Okay? So I'm going to left knee down. My left foot is on top of the floor. The top of the left foot is on the floor. So my back foot ankle is extended. Move this back just a little bit more. Okay. Sticks are at about 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. So I'm going to bring my hands off to the edges. Ready? And from here, I'm going to gently push the sticks down into the base of the wall. I'm going to push the top of my left foot down into the floor. And I'm going to squeeze and tuck my left pelvis underneath me. So I feel that through the anterior hip. And I'm gently just going to start to push my whole body forward. Not just my torso, not just my lower extremities. I'm pushing the whole entire body forward. Breathe. If you only have 1 stick, then this is what you're doing right now. You're going to hold this, and then when you get done with that, you're just going to go to the other side and do the other arm without switching legs. That's if you have 1 stick only. If you have 2, then we get to do this both sides together simultaneously. So we're opening up that whole anterior arm line. Ease off tension. Now move the sticks up overhead. Okay, ready? Push the sticks down into the base of the floor. Push the top of the left foot down. Squeeze the left glute, tuck the pelvis. Push everything forward. Keep the ribs down. You're going to start feeling the shoulders opening up. Breathe. And relax. Okay. Let's switch sides. Right leg is down, left leg is in front. Back ankle is extended, so we have the top of the right foot on the floor. Bring the sticks down. Ready? Gently at 30% tension, push the sticks into the base of the floor, base of the wall. Push the top of the right foot down into the floor. Squeeze the right glute. Give me a posterior pelvic tuck and tuck that pelvis underneath you. And now drive forward. The whole entire body is pushing forward. You're not getting into that lumbar spine. Breathe. Ease off. Move the sticks up. Overhead position. Ready? Here we go. Push the sticks into the base of the wall. Push the top of the right foot down into the floor. Squeeze that right glute. Posterior pelvic tuck. So you're driving the bottom of the hip forward and you're rolling the top of the hip back. And now drive forward. The whole entire body is driving forward. Keep the ribs and hips connected. Keep that pelvis tucked. And relax. Take a little breather. Okay. Whew. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get into a pigeon pose. All right? For those of you who can't get on the floor to get into a pigeon pose, you're going to do a seated version. Remember, the focus of the pigeon pose is to open up your external rotation ability. So if you have to do it seated because you have bad knees or such and such issues, your position is going to be on your chair. You're going to have one leg crossed because in this crossed position, you're externally rotated, and your stick position is going to be right here at 12 o'clock. And when I say reach forward, you're just going to simply keep your back nice and flat, and you're going to lean forward, and as you lean forward, you're just loading this external rotated hip. All right? So make sure your back stays flat on this. No rounding your spine. You're going to think about taking your belly button and your sternum and pushing it forward towards the floor. Belly button and sternum. All right? The rest of us, go ahead and have a seat on the floor. If you have a shorter stick, use a shorter stick. All right? So right now all I have is the 6. Because that's what most people have at home. My right leg is in front. My left leg is tucked behind. So here I'm essentially in my 90-90 position. So I have the stick in my left hand because my right hip is externally rotated. So now I'm going to shift my weight forward onto the front of my right shin and tuck my left leg behind me. I can place the right hand in front for added support. The left hand is and the stick are at 11 o'clock. Back is nice and flat. In the pigeon pose, make sure you can maintain a flat back to get that appropriate stretch factor. My hand is just about top of the head level. And now at 30% tension, I'm going to push the stick down into the floor. As you can see, the top of the back ankle is extended. So now I'm going to push the top of my left foot down into the floor also. So now as I push the stick and the left foot down into the floor, you're going to feel this whole entire left side. Breathe. And now while you maintain that tension, try to split the floor. Try to lengthen your left side. So your left foot is going to drive down into the floor and reach back. Your left hand is pushing down into the floor and reaching forward. You're trying to separate your left hand from your left foot. Meanwhile, remember, you're still pushing both of those appendages down into the ground. As you do that, you're going to feel more of that stretch factor in that right hip. Breathe. Hold. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Ease off. And now just have a seat. Just sit right down on your right butt cheek. And right there, you're pretty much in your 90-90 position. Okay, take a second. We're going to do that one more time. Alrighty? So keep that same position you were just in. Here we go. Ready? Roll back up onto your right shin. Okay, ready? Push, 30% tension. Back is straight, pushing the stick into the floor and the top of the left foot. And now lengthen even more. Push that left hand forward more, push that left foot back farther. Keep your back nice and flat. Keep that left hip closed or rotated towards the floor. And now try to shorten the floor. So try to pack your left shoulder down, pull your left scapula down towards your back pocket, and try to pull that left foot up towards your hip. So you should be feeling your core tissues work to contract. You're still pushing both the left hand and the left foot into the floor. And now spread the floor, lengthen it again. Push that floor apart. So you're trying to separate the left hand and the left foot. And now contract. Try to pull the left hand and the left foot together. Ease off and just have a seat right on your right butt cheek and relax. For those of you who are doing this in the seated position, just keep pushing the stick into the floor and just stay in that hinge pattern to open up that right hip or the externally rotated hip. If you want, you can actually take that hip that's rotated externally and try to actively push it down even farther towards the floor. So you're trying to push that whole outer leg down towards the ground if you're doing the seated variation, all right? Okay, so now I have left leg in front, right leg is tucked behind, stick is in the right hand, so I'm going to come up onto my left shin bone. I'm going to tuck that right leg behind me. Remember, the back ankle is an extension. So my stick is at 1 o'clock, my left hip is externally rotated, my left hand is there for added support. Hand is just about top of the head level. And now at 30% tension, I'm going to push that stick down into the floor. Push. You're going to feel that whole right arm line. You're going to feel the right lat. As you push that down, you should feel a reflexive desire to square that hip up, that right hip. And now take the top of the right foot and push it into the floor. Breathe. 30% tension. And now reach. You're trying to separate the right hand from the right foot while maintaining tension into the ground with both appendages. Breathe. Nice, deep, easy breaths. Ease off and just have a seat right on your left sit bone or your left butt cheek. Okay, take a rest. We're going to do that one more time. Now you know what's coming. We got the shortening and the lengthening properties, all right? Okay, ready? Roll back up onto your left shin. Here we go. 30% tension. Push. Left, right hand and right foot pushing. And now reach a little bit farther. Separate that right hand from that right foot. Breathe. Full inhale. Full exhale. And now shorten the stick. You're trying to pull the right hand and the right foot together. You should feel those tissues of the core contracting to try to pull everything together. And now push. Separate a little bit more. Push. And now pull. Shorten. Breathe. And relax and just have a seat right on your left butt cheek and then bring your right leg out from behind you. All right? Okay, let's place the stick down. Come on up, take a break. And we got one last stretch, all right? Whew. Okay, let's finish up with that bow and arrow. Let's open up the lateral lines. We're going to get a little bit of rotation in. So we're going to open up the ribs and the chest with this one. We're going to keep the hips still. Once we get into the bow and arrow position, we're then going to do some flossing of the upper extremities, all right, thoracic area. So let's take our feet a little wider than shoulder width, or just about shoulder width. The stick is at 3 o'clock, about 6 to 8 inches away from the midfoot. If you have more range of motion, then remember what we showed you last time, bring the stick in farther towards you. But as always, when you're doing a bow and arrow, you're never leaning on the stick. So if at any time if that stick were to suddenly disappear, you should never fall over. If you fall over in the bow and arrow, if the stick were to magically disappear, that's on you. You're leaning on the stick as opposed to opening up actively through that range of motion. Okay, right hand is right above where the sticker is, left hand over the top. Both hips are square to 12 o'clock right now. Push your hip out to 9 o'clock first. Now drive the arms out to 3. Keep the ribs to hips. So right here, some people may flare those ribs. Keep the ribs and hips connected. Now remember, you're going to squeeze those glutes, keep those hips stationary. Move the stick forward, and now pull the stick back. As you pull the stick back, that's where you got to really focus on keeping the ribs connected to the hips. Stick forward, breathe, stick back. Just like a fan going back and forth. Those big palm leaves, huh? One more. Forward and back. Back to center and relax. Let's switch sides. Stick is at 9 o'clock. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Reach over the top with that right hand. Keep those hips square so they're both facing forward. Drive the hips out to 3 first, then extend the arms out to 9. Ribs to hips. Pull the stick forward. Engage those glutes to make sure the hips are not moving. Pull the stick back. Keep the ribs down. Keep your head tilted. Forward. Back. Forward. Back. One more time. Forward. Back. Back to center and relax. Let's go through that one more time on both sides so that way, remember the first time you're just kind of figuring out what the hell's going on. This time around you should be much more engaged, much more in tune with what's taking place. I'll take a little bit of a side profile so that way you can see this angle a little differently and see what's going on. Okay, so the stick is at 3 o'clock, mid-foot. Reaching over the top with that right hand, or left hand. So I'm on the right side at 3 o'clock. Ready? I'll push the hip out first, and then I'm going to extend the arms out. Ribs to hips. So here's a side profile. If I flare my ribs, that's what this is going to look like. Keep those ribs and hips connected. Keeping those hips pushing out to 9. Move the stick forward. Head is tilted. And now pull the stick back. Move just the stick and the shoulders. Don't move any other part of the body. Forward, back. Engage those glutes. 2 more. One more. Back to center and relax. All right, let's finish up on the other side. Here we go. Ready? So stick is at 9 o'clock. About 6 to 8 inches away from your midfoot. Reach over the top with the right hand. Push the hips out to 3 o'clock first. Extend both arms out to 9. Head is tilted, ribs to hips. Move the stick forward. Pull the stick back. Forward. Back. Forward. Back. One more. Forward and back. And relax. Great job today, everybody. Thank you again for joining us as always. Be sure to check out our YouTube content. Subscribe to our channel if you can, please. We'd really appreciate it. Listen for our new podcast coming out. Actually, Neil and Chris Haynes and I at MMA Yogi. And Neil, we're all 3 of us going to be online doing a podcast today. Today's podcast that we're doing that's going to be coming up is about bridging the gap between classroom learning and real life application. Something that's a little missing in today's training society. So until next time on Saturday morning, everybody out there, be good to each other. Peace.